Hey, hey, hey. So hey Jason, you on time today? I love it. You know, we be hyped when we see your name pop up, bro. You be coming with that fire. Hey, sure, how you doing? So before we get into the meat of things tonight, I do want to at least we ain't gonna get too deep into it, but I do want to at least address where we left off last week. And I'm smiling because sometimes you just gotta laugh. I mean, it is what it is. Laughter is a coping mechanism. Um, but I got quite a few inboxes, and I knew that I would. I got a lot of text messages, and I got a lot of feedback on what it brought up for people. Some people were in agreement, some people were not. Um, some people were really triggered by the conversation, right? And I think that you all could see that we responded on screen how we were feeling and what it was bringing up for us across the board as we all engaged. We had the benefit. Q and Michael aren't going to be with us tonight, unfortunately. They got family duties, but they will be back with us in the coming future. But we had the benefit of having them on. So I think it gave us context to some different things that we don't always get to consider. And at the end of the day, I want to apologize to anybody um, that really may have been affected by that conversation, because we can't always control how things are going to affect people, what people are going to take from it, how they're going to feel. So I can't take responsibility for how you feel, because your response is your own, your reaction is your own. But I do want to be accountable to the fact that we do our best um, to have conversations that are healthy, that are productive, that are strategic and intentional in normalizing a lot of things that we don't always get to talk about in our community, and creating safe space as much as we can, because let's be real, this is online. There's only so much safety that there's going to be, right? But we
Right.
do our best. And I know that you, Sean, and you, Gypsy, agree with me on that. I know Q and Michael agree with me on that. So moving forward, I do just want to state the obvious and address the elephant in the room, that old man will not be with us anymore. um I think that's just the best decision moving forward. And if there's anything that came up out of last week's conversation, I am not volunteering to be your therapist, because I did have some people ask me that. I'm not going to do that. But I will say, I will say that it's never a bad thing if something came up that you were triggered by and you really feel like you need to get some help, get in therapy. If there are topics that were brought to mind for you from last week that you really want us to dive into, continue to send us those messages so that we can have conversation around them. And I'm always telling y'all, like, if you feel like there's somebody you want to see him on here with us, hey, give us a shout. Send them our details, have them reach out, and let's talk so that we can chime in and have different perspectives, because that's a healthy part of healing too. So with that being said, forgive me y'all, because I am sleepy. I literally just jumped off a plane, took my hoodie off my head because it was cold as shit on the plane, ran in the house and ran upstairs and jumped on screen. So yeah, with that being said, we're gonna dive in. Ignore how I
Mhm.
look, because if I could have, I would have put my pajamas on and been on here right now. Like, it's been that kind of day.
Hey.
Huh?
Yep.
What you say?
I said, hey, put the
Hey,
pajamas on. That's right.
I
listen,
mean, we
listen. I
we
would have
should
put
have
some
had
pajamas on
a
and
One
grab
day
a
we
glass of
can have a
wine.
pajama jam. You
yeah we should have had a conversation because I started having my
just
pajamas on
looked at
too.
you, Sean.
You say what
This is
now?
why I love y'all, because we be vibing. We be
I just
vibing.
looked at you, Sean.
What you mean? Look
Hmm?
at me. I look too
It's
good.
What
too
you talking about,
soon.
Gypsy?
What you
It's
mean
too
too soon?
soon. That
What do you mean?
fucking
This
Oh,
this this
too
the
soon.
last Super Bowl
Oh,
they won.
no. It's
This the
too
last.
soon.
This the last one they won. This ain't
I'm
the upcoming
a,
one. This the
I'm a,
last one they won. What are you
I'm a,
talking about?
I'm a Commander fan. It's too soon. I'm hurt.
It
she
ain't too
still pissed
soon.
from last week, sir, and
No,
she fucking
no.
with you on that t-shirt too.
The Commanders just got beat up by the Eagles on Sunday.
Don't
Oh,
nobody care about no
oh,
damn
oh,
Commanders.
I'm sorry. You a Commanders fan? I'm
Y'all
sorry.
know what? I'm not doing it
I'm
with y'all
sorry.
today. We came on here to talk about relationships and did you get married? or did you get into your relationship thinking that you could change your person? So,
Ooh,
Jesus, since you are
child.
in the camera, why don't you go ahead and kick us off?
Ooh, child. Okay. And yes, Tanya, I am sipping on something. It's a lemon drop martini. You know I'm a martini girl. Okay.
Martini. What's your
Well,
recipe? Because we got to tell them the recipe.
girl, I use my Bartisma.
Who?
My son got me a Bartisma.
Yeah,
Bartisma
that's the
So you
Keurig for
fancy,
liquor.
huh?
Keurig for liquor.
You
Yeah,
fancy.
that's the Keurig for liquor. You just pop the
I,
pod
I
in.
I got one in my cart, but I ain't pulled that trigger on it yet because that price
Yeah,
wasn't talking to me.
I got one for Christmas, and I've been wearing that motherfucker out. No, it's
So you fancy, huh?
not fancy, huh?
Hey Tanya, hey Jasmine.
Well, when you see the red cup, I'm always sipping. So I
Yeah,
got me
you
some.
sipping brown though, right?
Yeah, I got me some bourbon this time. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Unfortunately, I
So,
got a Mountain Dew because I got to get some stuff done and repack because I'm back out in the morning. So I can't sip with y'all tonight. But best and believe I will be sipping with y'all next week because your girl needs to drink.
I hate her ass. She talking about it's gonna be broke by next Christmas. I love my niece, but I hate her
So,
ass.
so that means you gotta buy her another one, Jazz.
That's right.
Right, big baller, buy me another one. But it
Look,
be overuse. No.
drunk
Okay.
ass. Oh,
So
she over here firing shots already, and we ain't even got started yet.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
on a serious note, you know how you said you married him thinking they were going to change? No, I married him thinking he wasn't going to change.
And that's valid too.
And one, because so we had been off and on since we were in our 20s. We didn't get married until we were 41. And I was thinking, because when he came back into my life, he swore he had left our past behind. Lying ass.
For the people that don't know, what was the past?
So,
and you ain't got to get deep into it.
We just had a complicated situationship from the time that we was 26 until, we was off and on for about 16 years. And so, no, 14 years. And so, and we were more off than on because we were in a lifestyle at one time. And then I left the lifestyle. And then he claimed he left the lifestyle, but he didn't. I just wasn't down anymore. And and so that's why I said I thought, his representative came back and said, me neither. And so, because when you're young, you try a lot of old foolish shit.
Yeah.
A lot of foolish shit. Thinking that, you cool with all this foolishness. And to be honest, because I was just getting out the Navy and I really wasn't trying to be tied down, and I was living my best life then. Shit, I ain't gonna lie. And I was down in Atlanta too. Shit.
Yeah, we gonna have to have a couch camp about that because we're gonna have to break that down because I got so many questions. But
You know what, Sean? If you wasn't my best friend, I wouldn't tell you, but you my best friend. So we can talk about it.
All I'm saying,
that's gonna have to be a debriefing behind the scenes.
Hey, like I said.
Okay, Jason. All right, since all you motherfuckers is nosy as fuck.
Wait a minute,
so
pause.
That's why. No,
you know what? Because I am who I am. I was who I was.
No.
So this is what I'm going to tell you. I used to swing.
Wait a minute. Hold up, presses. Gypsy, you are muted. Let's back up. Jason being funny because he brings the comedic relief. Gypsy, if you don't want to talk about it, baby, we know it's intense. You ain't got to talk about it. So you unmuted. Okay. Because you just
hold on. Wait.
You know what? Fuck you, Jazz.
Wait.
Okay,
wait,
hold up, Gypsy. You back muted
wait,
because Sean trying to
wait,
intervene and save you.
wait.
You know.
That's why I said we're gonna have a couch camp. That's gonna have to be a totally different episode because if we get into this now, we'll
We ain't
never
gonna
talk
never
about the
right.
topic that we're trying to talk about.
And Gypsy, you
Uh,
get a little intense. I love you, but you know you get a little intense.
I'm not gonna get intense. I'm just gonna put it like this. So I was in my 20s, and
and you was for the streets. All
I was
right, let's
for the
move on.
streets. I was.
Let's
I was for the
let
streets.
and,
I was.
and let's
I
move
was
on.
living my best life. There was
Everybody was at 20. If you
any-
wasn't at 20, something was wrong.
anybody in the ATL know what cheetah was? Or know
Hey,
what
Jason,
cheetah was?
it's SEAN, Jason, SEAN.
If you don't know what cheetah was, you need to go on and look it up. But cheetah was a club. They used to have these real dark entrances. And
Anybody that know nothing about ATL at that time know that Chocolate City was about something. And so if you know, then you know about Cheetah. If you don't know about Cheetah, then you was over there doing whatever you was doing and you ain't know. But
so we were swingers. And but I left the lifestyle and I left him in the lifestyle. And then he said he left the lifestyle and he was ready to settle down, but he was still a cheater.
Suzette said, "Speed it the fuck up." I'm with Suzette.
That's what I said. I left the lifestyle. He didn't leave the lifestyle. He said he left the lifestyle. He was still a cheater. He was still for the streets. And so
And
when I found
Jasmine
out he
talking
was for the
shit.
streets, that's it.
And Jasmine talking shit. The streets ain't for everybody. That's why they made sidewalks.
You know what?
Girl.
Fuck you, Jazz.
she be on some. I wanted some of whatever she take it because she be on some other shit. But anyway,
Back on
back
topic.
back to the question at hand.
But that's it. So sometimes we marry people thinking they will change, but a lot of times we marry them hoping they won't.
Very true.
And
Very
especially if the representative shows up. And when the representative shows up and says, "Hey, I'm cool, I'm down, I'm all about you," and blah, 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 blah. And so we marry them thinking they won't change, even when we see the red flags.
I
We
agree.
see the red flags and be like, we had to say this.
I mean, hey, if you see red flags and you choose to stay in it, that's on you.
Well,
Sometimes we
Choose to ignore the
hope
red
that-
flags.
sometimes we hope those are not red flags. Sometimes we hope we're colorblind.
I mean, some people marry the red flags and they're okay with the red flags because they feel like it's a trade-off. So, and I don't heard it all.
Now, see, if I was gonna marry a red flag for a trade-off, it damn sure would have been one of them goddamn charges I was messing with when I used to live in Cali. Because ain't no need in being miserable in a Volkswagen. I'd rather be miserable in a Maserati.
Well, I'd
But
rather
why?
have people problems than be broke, right? I feel you.
I'm
But
just
that being
saying,
said,
if you gonna be for the streets, be for the streets. But if you got money and you for the streets, don't you know that's why a lot of women do overlook people that are for the streets that got money.
Yeah, but problems is
It's a
problems
trade-off.
at the end of the day.
It's a trade-off. He's
Just
paying for
'cause-
your time. It's a trade-off.
Well, then at that point, call it what it is.
What is it, then, Sean? Tell
What do you
me.
mean? What is it? Who do you pay for their time so they can
Fuck
leave you
you,
the fuck
Sean.
alone?
You call me a hoe?
You said it. I didn't say it. I just asked a question.
I thought you
You
was
said
my
it.
friend.
I asked the question based off of what you said. I didn't say it.
so bring it back. Let's get back on. How the hell did we get here? See,
Because I was trying to keep it, but
listen, that's okay. I was a swinger. Okay,
we
I
get
was
to
a
the word
swinger.
swinger.
There was a time when I was ashamed to say
you
that.
know what? Oh nah, don't ever be ashamed.
No,
of what you
no,
did.
no, no. But
I mean,
for real,
it is what it is.
but you know, that's the thing, that's the difference is now, like I said, I am who I am. I was who I was, and I'm cool with both these bitches.
Exactly. I'm ashamed I was never a swinger.
It
I
was
could have had a lot of fun,
boy.
So hey, but at
There's
the end of the
definitely some things
day,
in my 40s
you
I wish I had done in my 20s and 30s. Like I feel you on that,
exactly.
Sean. I think we live life waiting,
I
waiting,
hate that
and
damn
waiting.
niece of mine.
Hey
So
Siri,
you
play Michael Jackson.
it sound like what you need to do here is you need to come up with a memoirs, because it sounds like people are looking to hear your stories.
But
Yes.
I mean, and that's the thing though, is
Okay, so but we way off topic. Let's we
yeah.
listen.
No,
We're gonna have a pajama
it's
topic where we
it's
talk
the
about
right
this today.
it's the topic is married people based on who they are, not thinking they will change or they won't change. Marry them for who they are, accept who they are, and if you can't, move on, because thinking they will or won't change is not the basis for marriage. A bald-headed ass baby or a threesome ain't gonna change a motherfucker.
And
Is
a
you
lot of
trying to
people.
baby bald headed?
I mean, most people babies do be bald headed, but
They
some of
be
them
ugly
have
for
full
real, for
heads
real.
to heads. But
Yeah, they be
you
ugly.
know, but a
That
lot
being
of
said,
people do think that once I marry this person or I lock this person down, they're going to change. So
yeah,
I'm going to make them change,
yeah.
and that's never the
Or
case.
and
Never.
let's not limit it to just marriage. That's why I said relationship, right? Like we
Right.
still we still see that every day in relationship that men and women will get with somebody, they will stay with somebody, and then walk away bitter after however many years because that now I have heard some men talk about this, but more so women. Women will often marry
Potential.
because or put exactly, or we will get into a relationship and stay because we see what they are capable of, we see the potential, we see the possibilities and the future if they listen to us, if they rock with us, if they work with us, and we put in all that labor and that emotional work only to walk away a lot of times bitter, realizing he ain't did shit. He
Right.
right where he was when we got with him, or that woman has built that man up, participated in him becoming the version that he is now, and then he will walk away and go give all the glory to someone else, and she's still bitter. And I'm like, at the end of the day, it was still choice. Like you can feel some type of way
Yeah.
if they did you wrong, but it was still a choice to stay with that person.
And let me add the icing on the cake. And then
Mm.
when we did divorce, that bastard had nerve to want goddamn Palamon. The fuck out of here.
You was making too much money.
And you think I didn't have proof of his
Um,
infidelity, so I didn't have to pay?
I didn't say
Jasmine
that.
said,
I just said
Jasmine
he's
said
making
some of
too
these
much
folks don't
money.
even change their drawers. So with that
Oh,
being
right,
said,
right.
my rule of thumb, because we're not gonna get too deep into the gypsy store. We're gonna say that for pajama night, so we can go all the way in for once and for all. Okay.
Mhm.
My rule of thumb, and I try to tell people this, I look at right where you are. And if I can't stand you, if I can't handle you, if I don't desire you, if you don't make me want you all the ways right where you are, I can't be with you. Because what I have learned is you may become a better version of that. And if you do, I want to rock with it and experience that too. Let's grow forward together. However, that is not guaranteed. So I
You
gotta accept you
know
right where
what?
you are. And if I can't, I need to just be not with you, right?
I'll tell you, that's what people don't understand is when they say, I'm not going to change, is the for you is silent.
Yep.
I'm
Um,
not going, I don't want to marry. The for you is silent. I don't want to marry you is silent.
no, because
No, yeah.
now the
When
reason
they
I'm
say
being
I
so
don't want to
clear,
marry, the you is silent. I don't want to marry you. They not that they don't want to marry. They don't want to change to marry you.
now are you talking about somebody changing or just wanting to get married and change?
Exactly. Because the thing is that if you give somebody an ultimatum and say, well, I want you to be faithful, I want you to do this, and I want you to do that, and they say, well, I'm not going to do all of that for you, it's silent.
I'm still asking, are you saying and the only reason I'm playing devil's advocate because I think that there are some people that genuinely don't want to get married. You've been loud on here many times. I ain't ever getting fucking married again.
I'm not ever getting married again. You right.
So is that for you, for the person that you were with at the time, for the person that you may encounter,
No,
or is
that's
that
for everybody.
So-
Everybody. I'm gonna just be living in sin the next time. I'm just gonna be living in sin. No, I'm not getting married again. You ain't getting half of my motherfucking thing. What you came with, you leave with. Get the
So with
fuck
that
out.
being said, we can't make such a blanket statement that if a person says they don't want to do something, it's only because of the person that they're with. I agree to some extent, but that's not across the board. Sean.
What you say, Sean?
Okay, so
What say you?
well, I got a couple of things to say, but at the end of the day, if Buddy come along and all his stuff straight and he don't even need none of your money, he just enjoy your company, and he put that Thanos dick down on you, you probably get married again. But besides that,
Damn, that nigga said Thanos.
that's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? But besides that, as far as the conversation itself, I've
Damn, he said
just
Thanos.
just to take from my own
You really
personal
over here
past
thinking about this shit.
experience.
Girl, get back in the conversation.
That's why I said it, because you see how I got it. But anyway,
Okay. You just proved his whole point with your whorish
exactly.
ass. You just proved his whole damn point.
Hey, at some point in time, we all hoes for somebody. Trust me.
All right, listen, that's why I said it. Because all of us gonna be the hoe for the right person that we want to flip it up and down
Exactly.
for. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
And ain't nothing wrong with it. Listen, this is why we normalize these conversations. Ain't nothing wrong with being vanilla. Ain't nothing wrong with being in the middle. Ain't nothing wrong with
Ain't
swinging.
nothing wrong with a hoe for the right Thanos.
Listen, ain't nothing wrong with it. I always like to say I love to swing from the chandelier. I don't really, but I'm just saying for the right person, I will
The
try.
right Thanos.
Right. For the right person, most of us are motivated to change.
So let me stop.
Most of us are motivated
My
to
bad.
change something. But I don't agree that if someone says,
I got lost in the fence.
we know you did, baby. Pull it back together. Pull it back together. But I don't agree that if somebody says I don't want to do something, it's only because of the person that they're encountering at that point. Sometimes, yes, that is the real truth. And then other times it's because that person has truly gotten to know themselves.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be polyamorous. It ain't nobody that's going to stand in front of me at this point in my life and convince me to do it. I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't judge it. I don't have a problem with it. But I know my personality. A, I'm a little too selfish. B, I'm a little too crazy. C, I'm a little too crazy. And D, E, F, and all the rest of them motherfuckers. So that being said, I don't play with people, and I don't let people play with me. You understand? So even though I don't judge it and I don't see anything wrong with it, there's nobody that can stand in front of me at this moment and be like, well, come on, Jay, let's do it. No, I'm good with one person. I got enough bandwidth for me and all the people in my head, and then one person. Now, 10 years from now, that might change. Who knows? But it would change because of me changing and deciding that I want something different, not because of a person. You get what I'm saying? So that's why,
as I've gotten older, I don't need constant companionship, but I want faithful companionship. Does that make sense?
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Like I don't want constant companionship, but like for example, I just want faithful dick. I don't need constant.
All that.
I don't
like
you ain't gotta be here all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't need you being for the street still either.
All that. This is why when I get married again, Gypsy, I want 2 separate houses. I want my space and your space and our space. You know, like you said, faithful, consistent dick, but we ain't got to look at each other 24/7.
That part, like there are some people that they say, "Oh, but we got to live together." For what? No, we ain't got to live together, but that don't mean you got to be taking the dick and being all over.
So,
town.
What'd you say?
Yeah. I
You
said
breaking up.
that don't mean you got. I said that don't mean you got to take the dick and be all over town. We ain't got to live
You
together.
ain't got to be
Just
community dick, in other
don't
words.
be community dick. You can't
I
be
feel you.
community dick just because we don't live together. I
I
mean,
feel
'cause
you.
we can fuck every day and not live together. You just take your
Facts.
motherfucking ass home.
Facts. Let me catch up on these comments real quick. Suzette said, my therapist said, whoever your significant other is accept them or not. Don't go in looking for hope and potential. Man, because hope and potential done crashed a lot of people damn
Woo!
dreams. Jason said, Gypsy, I knew you had that bag, girl.
Yeah, Jason.
Gypsy, you can keep that. Jasmine said, you
Yeah,
can keep
I
that
love
little ring.
you, Jasmine girl. She said you can keep that little ring. You
Hey,
right? I
okay.
got all got that ring.
Sean said, let's move it along. Let's move it along. Sure said Thanos, and he did say Thanos. Okay, so he got
Mhm.
everybody daydreaming and imagining things.
Man,
That is true. There's always a person that has your number. Listen, as I used to hear the older people say when I was younger, there's always that one person that gonna pull your whole card. Okay, there's that one person that will make you flip your fucking mind and do things you never thought you was gonna do because you either for women it's mostly because we either feel safe with them or there's something in them that sparks something in us that says, I want to experiment and try something different.
Yeah.
Or we're pissed off at whoever we just left and all the shit we didn't do with them. Now this new motherfucker gonna get it so we can try it. We just
And
didn't want
you
to do
better
it, but
be
that's all right.
tired as a motherfucker.
See? And it don't be right. I'm not saying it's right, but it is, right? It is.
it is what it is.
Anita said, really, Sean? Hey,
Right?
Anita. Jasmine said, go on. Oh my God. Go on and show that mouth doing that coochie too. Wop. Now y'all know we had the wop, dop, and lop conversation about
No,
what a
she
month and
didn't
a half
know about
ago.
the drop though.
You know what I'm
Wait
saying?
a
Go ahead and
minute.
catch that replay.
That's my little baby niece. That's my niece know about the wild.
She a
Girl,
grown
shut up.
ass
She's a
woman.
grown woman.
I
Right.
I know, but
She
you know,
grown.
Mm.
Get over it.
Accept that.
she
Accept that.
always gonna be my baby though.
Don't
Accept it.
matter. She
Accept it.
grown. And she getting the dick too. Jason says he using the Thanos to use it, Jason. Jasmine said, get you some dogs and a vibrator. Oh my God. No. And then, and then Jason said, okay, what about social D, Gypsy? Can he be social dick instead of community dick?
It's only when I'm social. It's only in social settings.
So no, because social dick implies that I know his partners. I don't want to know if you out here being community dick. At least I don't really know who the other people are. When you social dick, that means that we in the same circles. Nah, don't fuck in the circle now.
That don't mean
Oh,
that.
I'm
That could
sorry.
mean that.
Yeah, don't fuck
That
in the
could,
circle.
that could just mean he got some friends. You may not know them, but socially he just giving them dick. That's all.
Don't fuck in the circle.
Now,
Don't
so
fuck in
is
the
it socially? Well, Jasmine said, "Girl, stop your damn crying." And is it
circle.
socially acceptable if they live in different cities? Okay, if they live in
I
different
don't,
cities, is that acceptable?
I don't
So
know. So for example, I'd be okay if I had community peen that I didn't know was community peen as long as he kept it clean.
exactly, that makes sense.
Because we live in different settings. Like keep the
Yeah.
community peen clean.
So
No,
like
but
this,
don't let me know about it being community peen. Because
like
if I
this.
Nah,
If
know
it's,
community
I mean,
peen,
I understand how you feel, Jay. Trust me, because we all know you crazy. So we don't want to send nobody through that. But what I'm saying though is that, and this is the thing I don't understand.
you
That
can
guy, like,
suspect.
dude, if
hmm?
you got a girl and she's somewhere else and you somewhere else, y'all got a long distance relationship, but you still fucked around, strap up. Don't slip
Well,
up.
Right.
Just
that's
strap up.
That's all I'm saying. I can suspect, but or not suspect, but don't bring me nothing. Cause then if you bring me something, I'm gonna
Then,
kill you.
yeah, you already know now. Nigga gotta get
I'm
killed
gonna
and shit.
kill you.
that all the shit getting burned up.
I'm gonna
And,
have
and,
So
and
you and
my
brain.
thing is for real. if you too old now, I'm the age I am. I've learned through life, you know. When I was young, yeah, I did wild shit. But once I actually got older and actually started being in real, true, committed relationships, I stopped all that wild shit. Now I'm just at the point, hey, if I do find somebody, I'm just gonna be with that person because it's not even worth it. But
See, that's all I'm saying.
at the same time, I don't care how old you are. If you still want to be out there in those streets, then make sure you do what you need to do so you ain't getting
So
messed up.
Oh, we
And
all
that
know
and
it
that
all made it made all of us like a little snicker. But you know it's the truth. Oh, he got dirty. She's
now
stupid.
that's not what I was saying. I'm just talking about I learned from the emotional standpoint of things because I lost relationships
Well,
that I thought I was gonna marry that person and that never happened.
so can I
You
say
know,
this
but
though? Sometimes it comes to a point where you're not emotionally vested, it just becomes a
uh,
stress reliever.
I mean, but
but
that's
at the
different.
that's
That's
right. That's
different.
not a relationship. That's just a fuck buddy or a fun boy or a fun toy.
I mean, but that's the thing is that somehow
Boyfriend.
you don't even know when the switch changed.
You don't even
Well,
know what.
Like
hopefully, and see,
you did have feelings at one time, but somehow the switch changed and you just all of a sudden they became a stress reliever and not somebody you were emotionally vested in. Maybe something tripped in you that made you turn off and say, you know what, this can't go no further than stress reliever when I'm in town. Stress reliever
So
when he in town.
so let me catch up on these comments and then I'm gonna go back to what
Yeah.
Suzette said too. And then say from my perspective. So Suzette said if people know how to keep their mouth shut and you're being safe, I don't care what you're doing.
Oh,
However, I'm
you don't
selfish
care
with
about the
myself. I'm not
circle?
what?
She said she don't care about what the circle. Oh shit. But
Well,
okay.
she basically said the same thing you did. If you don't know about it, you can't be upset about it.
Well, yeah, I guess so. You're right.
And then she said, "I'm selfish with myself. I'm not letting anybody just happen." See, that's what I'm saying. I don't mind having fun, but this ain't community property, so everybody is not going to be able to say they rode this ride or ever say they had access. You know what I'm saying? And that
that's
ain't
true.
about prudish or whatever. That's just like boundaries and
Oh no,
shit. I'm a fucking
everybody
honest.
don't
You know
deserve
what
it.
I'm
That's the thing. Everybody don't
saying?
deserve it. You know how many women
Exactly.
I've turned down that was like, like nah, shorty, you can't because if you get this, you're gonna be addicted. And nah, I don't need that.
Nobody
Go
put
ahead
outside
about your
my
business.
motherfucking house.
Go about your business.
So, so Suzette says, "Shit, Thanos didn't make you rethink your whole existence, and it will." Jasmine said, "There's this ain't no damn garage sale. Fact, okay? We ain't discounted. We ain't on sale, bitch. We are not easily accessible. That being said,
and,
I can
and
I
ain't
can
no
talk about the
bartering going
on the
on
other
either.
side. What you say?
Ain't no bartering going on either.
Ain't no fucking bartering either. So I can
Oh,
talk about the boy toy situation from the other side, right? So
Okay.
I had a situation where I met this guy. I knew that though he was interesting to me, I did not ever see anything really happening. Like I chose him as a boy toy because it was going to be easy for me to compartmentalize and keep him in that space.
Mhm.
Now, that being said, we also had somewhat of an unconventional experience. So we would hang out, spend time together. I would go over to his apartment. We watch TV, relax, chill out.
Oh,
He know where I
you
live.
violated the boy toy. The boy
No,
toy.
listen, he didn't know where I lived, and that was intentional, right? But
Oh,
I'd go over there sometimes and just hang out. The reason we did that and I enjoyed it was because it made the physical connection even more powerful. You know what I'm saying? So it was fine. That being said, he started getting weird. Now, once he took himself out that box that he was supposed to exist in, we no longer could deal with each other because now you doing too damn much, right? So I think people have to define what they're gonna be and be willing to stand on that. So for me, when it started getting weird, it's like, okay, now you're trying to take yourself out of this box, and I'm very clear on what I said. And he was doing all this back and forth. Well, I wasn't sure. Boy, bye. You go sit over there and be still, right? Because that's the problem. Either A, when people's feelings change, they don't talk about it and they bullshit each other, or B, they try to continue to do what they were doing, knowing that it's never going to be the same because somebody or both people's feelings have changed and they don't want to acknowledge it.
Right.
Ain't no dick that good that I got to hang on to it. Dick is replaceable. Now, it's a difference if I'm feeling you as the person, right? Then I'm going to be much more willing to try to communicate and figure things out or engage with you in such a way to see what's possible or whatever. But if it's just sex, once you try to step outside that box, that's it. Now
So
you're cut off.
I need you back up because I have a question. When you said that, I have a question.
Well,
now, while you say that once you put them in that box, have you ever taken somebody out of the box because your feelings changed along the way? Like, see,
that's different.
I think it was different with him because your feelings didn't change, his did.
But that's different, and so that is actually touching on what I was trying to explain earlier. When somebody wanted to jump in about some dirty dick shit, but anyway, that's what I was trying to explain. When you are more mature, when you make that transition from being for the streets to saying, you know what, I think this is the person I really want to actually try to make something with. And you've been dealing with that person and you've been sitting there telling that person that, oh yeah, I ain't doing nothing but seeing you, but you're seeing other people. And then when you try to lock it down, and that's when they're like, oh nah, I got receipts. Now you hurt.
So
I like what Jazz just said.
Ain't nobody asked for the extracurricular. Stick to the fucking script. Don't run them. See, that's how I felt in that particular case. I was like, we had a good thing. We hung out a few times a week. It was good. You know, I would get up and go home. Every once in a while, I might spend the night, you know, just so we could have a little extra time. But for the most part, no. So
spend the night on the door. No.
So the reason for that was our schedules were so drastically different that if I got there, it was gonna be late at night. I'm tired, you tired, so we might be able to have some fun, and then let's get up in the morning and have some fun before we have to start our day, right? So that worked, but again, I still had clear boundaries. Like, this is what this is. This is how this exists.
He got confused when you spend the night.
Hell, he was the one asking me to spend the night. I was trying to get him to go home.
He got confused when you spent the night.
Yeah, I agree. But again, we talked and
we don't spend the night with. We don't spend the night with. You know. Yeah, you know.
See, I think.
Look at Sean's face. Sean, you don't understand.
I'm not saying.
Oh, no, I understand. Because I'm like, yo, I don't care. Oh, it's 5 o'clock. You gotta get up and go because somebody else coming won't be here at 7. So you got to leave.
No cuddle time with the cutting.
So that was me. I would be ready to go home, and he would be like, "Well, no, stay. Come pack your bag. Come over and stay." Jasmine said, "Should have brought." That being said, Suzette, okay.
Right.
That being said, I'm still a big person on communication. So if we say a thing until we both come back and say that thing is different, I'm still focused on what we said, right? Like, I hold boundaries really well.
Most women don't do that, and that's why he was confused.
And that's why I exited stage left. That being said, you asked me, did I ever have a situation? You asked me, did I ever have a situation? Because we ain't gonna talk about that. You asked me, did I ever have a situation that my feelings changed? So actually, yes. But so it was weird because it was well before we were ever intimate. We became friends. Initially, I was trying to put him in a category that I thought he was showing me he wanted to be in. I never had any intention on ever being intimate or anything. I thought we were just friends, right? And so over time, I started to realize, no, I actually do enjoy hanging out with this person, spending time getting to know them. I think the problem that we ran into was that we both started liking each other. And there
Mm.
was so many different things going on. Whenever we would try to communicate it, we were not understanding each other's language, right? So after the fact, he would come back and be like, well, I was trying to show you that I liked you. And I'm like, nigga, where? Because did I need a magnifying glass? And when I was trying to say, but I was trying to show you and I was communicating to you that I liked you, he was like, and when did this happen? So our language was so different from each other that we just weren't able to, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah, I
And I
got
think it ended up affecting the friendship,
you. Yes.
which was a whole nother issue in and of
Right.
itself. And I think that's something we don't talk about. I mean, you hear people say men are from,
You
what
gotta
is it?
like them. You gotta like them as a person because
True.
eventually the sex gets old. And if you don't like them as a shut the fuck up, Sean.
It should never
So,
get old.
When
so
your
in
shit
that
break
particular case,
one day when your shit break, you gonna realize what I'm talking
I
I
mean,
did
it,
genuinely
it,
like him
it
as a
take a lot to
person.
get broken, don't it?
Oh
I still
well,
got a mouth
listen.
and fingers.
Oh my God. In that particular case, Gypsy, I genuinely did like them as a, like, that was the challenge that I think we fell into. We both ended up truly liking each other as people, like as friends. And then there were other feelings on top of that. So by the
about.
time we ended up being intimate, like way down the line, it was good, right? But it only complicated things because we were already confused. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that's something we don't acknowledge enough when it comes to whether we're choosing to be with somebody because of perception or expectations, whether it's a fun buddy, boy toy, girl toy, whatever, whether it's a relationship, whether we get married, whatever that is. I don't think we acknowledge enough that a lot of times our communication is what causes most of those problems. Like people are either not being upfront, or one person is and the other person isn't, or they're saying what they mean, but still taking a different approach mentally and saying, but I can get them to change their mind or it will change over time instead of just hearing the person where they are.
But and then the other thing is we also don't acknowledge that when we have a partner and the situation changes and we no longer like our partner as a person.
Very true.
And that is
When
something
I
totally
stopped
different.
liking my husband as a person, I knew it was time to go. Like,
Jasmine,
oh
I
And
shit.
that,
agree
and
with
that,
you.
and that's
That's why
true.
I got
And
divorced.
that's why
Yep.
you gotta have those conversations. But everything you just said, Jay, actually brought it to a topic I do want to discuss, which is
Shit.
unintentional breakups.
Yeah.
Which
Oh,
are those breakups when you have that miscommunication.
Right.
that's
So
a good one.
we gonna table that. I'm not gonna get into that because we talking about other
Unintentional
stuff.
breakups. That's
We
really
gonna we gonna table that. We gonna talk about that later. That's an upcoming topic. I'm just
shut up,
saying
Sweetie. You go
that
back and watch the replay.
that communication part is what
But
actually causes that. And I don't know who Smitty is, but Smitty, yeah, you gotta watch the replay from the beginning. Everything's explained. But anyway, we do appreciate you,
what
Smitty.
Jasmine, what are you talking about? He was slow. Who was slow? And Suzette said you had a friends with
See,
benefits
so
for
it
30
You
years.
talking about my
So
ex-husband. Jazzy always say that.
that's
You know
fucked
what?
up.
I
That's
love
fucked
her.
up.
Jazzy always say
we're not going back into the ex-husband. That's gonna be exile to pajama night. So
that. Yes.
Sean, pick up where you would leave. You were saying unintentional breakups. Like, so I know
Yeah,
you
and
want to
like
table that for a different
yeah,
discussion, but
that's a future topic, so we'll get into that. I was just saying that the whole communication piece is what does that, but that's what I was trying to allude to earlier when I was talking about from my own personal experience. Is yeah, we know Gypsy know what you mean, Jasmine. But anyway, that's what happens when you don't when you play those games. Like, okay, I'm gonna let this person know I like them by doing instead of just saying, you know what, I like you, let's do this.
see, that's the thing for me, and I feel like that's where grown people fuck up the most. I had a real conversation with my friends last week, right? I was real honest. Have y'all ever had a moment where you are 10 toes down on what you're saying, and then you see the bullshit reflected on their faces? That happened to me, y'all. I was
Oh
10 toes
wow.
down in my argument with Q and Michael, Gypsy. Matter of fact, after
Oh,
last week's podcast, like I was 10 toes down and
wow.
they were done with me. They were like, do you hear the shit coming out your mouth? And I was like, but I'm saying the truth. Long story short, what I have come to understand is I miss a lot of social cues.
I do too.
So,
I
right.
think
So
I'm a little slow.
I ain't gonna say that bullshit. But that being
It's
said,
slow when
I
I
recognize that I miss a lot of social cues. And because I miss those social cues, because my mind is like focused on something else or not catching or whatever, I focus on clear communication. Don't tell me what you think I want to know. Say what the fuck you mean and mean what you said and stand on it. Like that's what I respond to, right? And once you say it, that's law in my mind until you tell me something different. And I think that is the biggest problem that we as adults experience in our dating relationships and our marriages and our friendships across the board is that we will say something and then we don't update people when it changes, or we don't update people as we change and as we
our
evolve, and we
communi-
expect them to figure it out through osmosis.
our communication styles are coming from childhood. And
Yes.
some people, our communication style is not direct because the communication
Yeah.
style we grew up with was not direct. It was more innuendo. It was more passive aggressive. And so,
That the
and
passive
the
aggressive.
thing is that if you have two different communication styles, then it can go over somebody's head. And like, while I say that jokingly, when I say I'm slow, it's different because, okay, my sister and I had this conversation earlier this week because I think it was the way that we grew up
Mm.
because we didn't grow up in the States. And so our our experiences and our communication styles that we were taught and things like that, they were a little bit more scripted than a lot of people because
What do you mean
oftentimes
scripted?
a lot of times we were the only black family at the embassy. A lot of times, we lived overseas. A lot of times we were in, different cultures and things like that. So our communication style is a lot different than people. And even though, and one of the things that I realized about myself is I'm a mimicker,
Mm-hmm.
mimic the
Yeah.
behavior of those around me
Yeah.
to assimilate, to fit in,
Same.
because I grew up different. And so I did not understand like how they grew up and stuff. You see what I'm saying? And so, especially now, Tanya is one of
Yeah.
my oldest friends, but I met her in 7th grade. But keep in mind that people's communication styles and stuff, they learn them by 4th grade.
Yeah.
I was
That being
overseas.
said, teacher, we also still have to have the accountability as
I
adults
know.
once as we age.
Right, but that's the thing though. But also, if you never really learned social social cues because it was just different, and you learned mimicking, you became a mimicker and not
I understand.
knowing really how to read social cues. If
I
you've
understand.
lived all your life, then once you realize, wait a minute, yo, I really don't recognize social cues. I really need to learn them. It's kind of hard to relearn them at 50 something.
No, it's not. And I'm going to challenge that only because, well, first of all, let's pause. Let's take a commercial break and give a reminder. Make sure you
Like
subscribe
shit.
to the channel. Make sure you like the videos. Make sure you share the videos. And thank you for you guys commenting because it does help us to get more engagement. That being said, I'm also going to give 2 shout outs. Benny Mac. If you local in Birmingham, go get your haircut. Don't look at me. Don't judge because I got my appointment this week because, yeah. Ha! And Anita at Fantastic Nails. She began your girl right. So if you need some self-care, check them out. Now, that being said, I get what you're saying. That, like I said, that's literally the conversation that I was having with Q and Michael last week was I have gotten to a place where I had to acknowledge I don't always understand social cues, right? And because I don't always understand them, same exact thing is what we talked about. I learned long time ago to mimic what I see other people do in certain circumstances that I see repetitively or consistently, because I figure out that is the appropriate response, right? So a lot of times when I'm in circumstances, I'm missing it, and I have to go back and process later and be like, oh, okay, I can, and I have to move the puzzle pieces around to really figure out what's happening, right? I get it. Or I have to process with someone to get their feedback. That's why I use the example of I was 10 toes down in whatever my argument was of justifying some bullshit. And they were like, do you hear yourself? And I was like, and I do. And I stand on it. And they were like, you're insane. Because I clearly am the toxic person in a lot of the shit that I do. I'm having to own that. That being said, it does not negate the fact that I still have to understand how to adequately communicate with people. Doesn't matter whether we're 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, or 80s.
Right.
We still have the onus and the accountability and the responsibility to be able to recognize where we're falling short or we're struggling or stumbling and do what it takes to fix that. So for me, because I have long ago recognized that I was missing something, I didn't identify it until recent years that it was social cues. I just recognized that something was different in how I was communicating versus how people were communicating with me, right? That meant I had to work a little bit harder. I had to process more. I had to reflect more. I had to ask more questions. But that doesn't absolve me of being an active participant in conversations. So whatever our upbringing, whatever our cultural difference, whatever our gender difference that makes us feel like there's a disconnect, we as the individual still have the accountability to recognize self.
Right.
Because for me, I had to recognize it in all my relationships and all my friendships. I am the common denominator. So if there's something that I'm dealing with that I don't like, I have to acknowledge that there's something that I'm doing to bring it to the table and participate in it. Right. Even if that person is accountable for how they may have treated me or done me wrong or whatever may have happened, there was something in me that connected with that person.
I
Same
just
thing with
recognized that. This is what's so funny is I just recognized it in the last few weeks that the social cues and stuff, I miss those things. Those that they sometimes fly over my head, right? And when you're a mimicker, you just kind of like emulate what you see other people do that becomes acceptable. Case in point, there was a time I used to have inappropriate responses to things all the time. For example, I remember when someone died in the family and I laughed.
We've all been there.
I laughed. It wasn't like I laughed because it was funny. I laughed because I didn't have an appropriate response for what I was feeling, right?
That is an appropriate response.
Right.
That
That's
is
not
some people's.
inappropriate.
Yeah, that's their actually to deal with it. That's what they have to do. That's their
Yeah,
coping mechanism.
but it was an inappropriate response because it
For
was
other people, but
yeah, because
trust
Help us
me,
understand why you're saying it's inappropriate.
yeah,
because that's what
it
I was
is.
told. My mother said at the time,
See,
"What the fuck you laughing at? That shit ain't funny."
but
So
that's
that
the
was your
coping mechanism.
mother's.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But because so since I've been in therapy, I've learned to kind of tap into other emotions. But before then, I usually only tapped into two. It was either happy or pissed the fuck off. Like there was only two, and for a lot of people, anger is their go-to emotion when they are not happy. Anger is the go-to. There is no other go-to. And so
Right.
learning to tap into the range of emotions that we've been given is different, and it's difficult to learn and relearn appropriate responses. But anywho, I digress.
I get what you're saying, but I think Sean and I are still trying to reflect back to you that the laughter, as an example, was never inappropriate. That was your mother's judgment and her truth based on her own experiences. And a lot of people still, even now today, think that because they don't understand the true spectrum that human emotion exists in, right? They don't understand the true magnitude of how many thoughts and emotions, or not thoughts, but how many emotions and feelings. Most people don't know emotion other than what you just said: anger, rage, sadness, maybe some happiness. They may be able to identify if they feel rejected or grief or something like that. But most people don't even understand the vastness of how many emotions and feelings we actually have. Most people have never seen an emotion wheel. They don't even know that they exist, right? So when you're displaying something outside of the norm that they are used to experiencing, yes, they're going to label it inappropriate or bad. So that the laughter was not a bad thing, right? It was your body, your brain, your psyche, your soul, spirit, whatever you believe in, coping. I laugh all the fucking time. I've been in court as the victim and laughing on the stand, right? And the lawyer had to explain to them that this is a coping mechanism.
Okay.
I know for me, I have two responses when I get extremely angry. I am either going to laugh or cry. And if I cry, you want to run for cover. Because it is literally my body's way of trying to save you and me, right? It's trying to push out as much emotion as it can as quickly as possible to get me out of that state. Whereas if I'm laughing, I see you, Sean. If I'm laughing, I'm cognizant of it and I have an easier opportunity to segue myself, right? Which is why, as an example, last week, I stopped talking. I don't know if everybody noticed it, but I was sitting back, like playing on my. I was having a whole conversation in text with somebody else that ain't had nothing to do with the podcast because that was my way of disconnecting.
When I ate my salad, and that my way of disconnecting because I had to keep my mouth full so that I didn't talk.
Right. So don't go there, Sean. So that being said, everybody has
better than that.
All right. All jokes
on the screen.
all jokes aside.
That being said, everybody has their way of coping. Yeah. Hold on. Let's catch up on the comments.
Hold on. Wait. I just want to say one thing.
Yes, please.
Let me take a mansplain minute and just say this. Women, a lot of times, men don't be realizing y'all be flirting. So y'all gotta be a little more direct because sometimes they just think y'all being nice. That's all I wanted to say. That tied back into what we were talking about. You say what now?
I think women struggle with the same thing. We don't always recognize when men are flirting.
And that may be true. All I'm saying is women, and this the reason why I say this because women don't really know how much power they really have. But women, if you see a dude that you want, it's better just to put it out there to know whether or not he is available or not, and if he wants you back versus I'm just going to flirt with him, and then you find out later he married, he got a woman, or that you decide chick. So it's better to ask up front than to find out later. That's all I was saying.
He may lie, Sean.
Look, now if he lied, that means he a little boy and he not a man.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm gonna have to kill him.
And that's why I said mansplaining, not boysplaining. But go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
Catch up on the comments.
I agree with you, Sean. I was just saying, yes, I absolutely agree with you. And on the flip side, so this is again, me and Gypsy have both been transparent to say we miss social cues. First, let me catch up on these comments before we get too far. Jasmine said, I don't start off talking to everybody I observe first. Absolutely. I feel you, Jasmine. I'm an introvert. So I like to just sit and watch and pay attention to people, gather data, and then I respond, right? Suzette said, yes, you do. Sure said, we are not taught to be self-aware and be conscious of what is going on in the present environment you may find yourself in. Absolutely. Suzette said, thank you, Jay. No idea what I was saying. Jasmine said, girls like watching Dora that bitch. You know what? Jason said, well, no, let me read the comment. Girl, it's like watching Dora. That bitch still don't know where she going. You'll get it. Jason said, sorry, I got pulled over by okay, good. Hey, okay, we glad you good now. You
right. Hey. Yeah.
You gotta jump on screen so we can show everybody what's going on. You know we got you, Jason. You said no ticket though. Yes, thank you for favor and protection. Gypsy said, look at God, Jason. Jasmine could have filled it with something. Suzette said,
I can't stand.
so that being said, so I mean again,
Right.
Gypsy and I are both saying, hey, we miss so I missed it all the time. So I used the example of my friend a while back, right? And I think that was part of it. He was like, once I sat with a friend, I was like, let me talk something over with you because I'm really confused. Mm-hmm. And when I started she was like, girl, you fucking silly. Because you need like Coke bottle, beer bottle glasses to not see what the hell was going on.
Okay.
But I wasn't perceiving it that way, right? So I think a lot of times men and women, one, are so nervous about being accused of doing something untoward or something inappropriate. You know what I'm saying? Because we live in such a litigious society and the Me Too movement and all the things. Two, I keep being reminded, and Michael said it last week too, that guys get rejected so much more than women. So a lot of times they may want to flirt or they may want to say something or establish something and they won't because they don't want to get rejected. But I say the same thing with women. Like, we don't want to get rejected. We may think you fine and sexy and chocolate or caramel or whatever. We don't want to get rejected either because you see that size 40 booty and she got perky boobs and we might have a little muffin top or whatever. Like, women feel the same way.
Right.
I understand that, but I'm just gonna let you know right now, most men like a muffin top.
Oh.
That's all I'm gonna let you know. Now,
as I've been told, they like a mechanic. They're gonna lift the hood and make it do what it do.
That's all I'm letting you know. The most men like a muffin top. They love a muffin top. Hey, trust me. That's all I'm saying.
Jason said, Gypsy, you live overseas. Let us find out you Queen is Bermuda. Hell, she better take us with her ass if she going back to claim her throne. That's all I know.
Jasmine, follow me. I know the way. That's what she said. Because that's my niece, so I know what she said. Follow me. I know the way.
So Sean, from your man's point of view,
right?
You know, hype the people up. So we're talking about, did we get what people thinking it would change and all of that? And I guess this is still relatable because this is the before you got with them stage, right? So from your man's point of view or your masculine point of view, what do you think the ladies should be aware of or what they should be thinking about?
I mean, well, as far as women, I can't really explain that. Only thing I can say is when you get a person, yes, you take them for who they are, and you either love them for who they are, or you hate them for who they are, or you indifferent to who they are. But if you hate them or are indifferent, then you got to go ahead about your business. But if you love them, then you got to be willing to understand that person, because at the end of the day, to have a conducive and conductive conversation, you not only have to have your point of view, your mindset, but you got to be willing. And I'm not saying accept what someone says, but at least willing to listen to what they say. And say, you know what? I see your point of view. I don't agree with your point of view, but I see it.
Okay.
And I can see where you're coming from. Although I don't agree with it, it is nothing you say that's going to change my mind. I see where you're coming from. I can accept your point of view. This is how I feel. And let's find a happy medium. But if you can't work through it like that.
I got a text message and she said, stop that bullshit and just tell us what the fuck to do to get some men.
I already told you. You just gotta be straight up. I mean, first of all, you can't be afraid of rejection. Why you think it's a lot of cats out here that look like ooh, but they be out here hollering at everything they see.
Somebody. Right.
They holler at everything they see because you know what? I might get rejected 101 times, but that 102nd time, I got me one.
Yeah, well, I'm just here to tell her we need a new crop because these are stale.
And Also, you gotta broaden your horizons. I used to have this conversation with one of my good friends that
Hmm.
he's like, I don't know where to go to meet women. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Outside? Like, the fuck are you talking about? Just go outside.
Well,
Like,
I don't go
go,
outside. It costs too much out there.
go. You can go to the park. That don't cost you nothing. Even when you
I
go
mean, you
on
can meet
grocery
somebody
shopping.
anywhere. Like y'all was sharing last week with the. Okay, wait. Let me back up before I say this. Sean, are you okay? Because I know we said we were going to start recording the debriefings and sharing, and we did not record last week. So, are you okay with me
That's
sharing a little
fine.
bit from? Okay, so last week, Gypsy, because you weren't there either. So what we ended up talking about is
Oh,
we were
you know why
debriefing
I
behind
was.
stage. The guy, oh girl, you missed it. The guys were hipping me and Q to accidental pussy. And for the life of me, I
How
could
the
not
fuck you
understand.
accidentally fall in the pussy?
It
Right.
happens. It
It's like,
happens.
what?
Nigga, you got to unzip your pants. First of all, most of the time you got to drive over there, and then you got to unzip your. How do you accidentally fall in the pussy?
Look. This how it
You said
happened.
what I said.
I want to hear
This
it.
this this how it happened. You a
You saying
dude,
what I said.
you single, you minding your business, you go to just the it don't matter what store it is. You go to the mall, it don't matter. And you minding your business. You ain't looking for nothing. Just for what you want. I want me these new J's. They got some new J1s, whatever. And then boom bam, you up in there and it's like
You up here where?
in wherever store you in. And
Oh,
then you see somebody,
yeah, I
but
thought
you
you fell
but
in pussy. I'm like,
hold on, listen, just listen. And then you in a store
That is
and
what they
it's
say.
and it's like you might see somebody that you like, although you have no intention of approaching that person, but the first time you see him, it might be like, oh shit. And they see that expression on your face, they be like, oh, okay, he like what he see. And then they roll up on you. Next thing you know, y'all leaving, going back to whoever's spot, and y'all smashing. It was no intention there whatsoever,
there
none
is no
whatsoever.
accidental pussy because you
Okay, so
drove.
what would you consider that? What would you?
You drove over there after
That's what
you
I said.
seen it in the store. It ain't like you seen it in the store and you smashed right in the store. You drove somewhere else afterwards.
So
That's
the whole
accidental.
point
That's the
is
whole purpose.
it was not planned, it was not thought about. You did not leave with the intention of I'm going to pick me somebody up.
You did
It
when you
just
left
happened.
that damn store. You did when you got behind the steering wheel and followed her.
And
Ass like
but
you
at
did.
that point, what naturally happened. Is it wasn't that it was planned out. So yeah, technically it was accidental.
It wasn't. And
But hey, that's how y'all feel.
you probably
That's
stopped in the store
hey,
and got some condoms. Ain't nothing
that's
accidental
how you
about it.
feel. Now, if you out there like that, you should keep them on you at all times.
It still ain't nothing accidental about it.
Hey,
Because
that's
Oh,
how
you
you
left
feel.
the, because you left it. How the fuck you fall onto
So,
it?
you would consider it accidental if I done took it in the changing room and smashed it
Wait a
out
minute.
versus hey, let's
Wait
go
a
do.
minute. Wait a minute. You got this girl up here lying, talking about some she had to agree she fell onto a dick. What?
Hey, it
Fall
happens.
onto no dick. You stop lying.
It happens. It was not planned out. It ain't nothing was it was that was the first when you woke up that morning, that was the first thought from your head.
you know what? Jason, you said you scared me laughing in court. Listen, I am a multi-layered being. Let me
Right.
leave that there. Suzanne, Jasmine said that banana peel and water made him slip. Listen,
I'm still trying to understand how y'all trying to justify falling on the dick and in the
Hey,
pussy. It's
if that's
just
how
too
you
much got to
feel,
go on.
if that's how you feel, that's how
how
you
you
feel.
think she got
Uh,
here, Gypsy?
she ain't
Mm.
accidentally fall on no dick.
How you know? Was you there?
Right? Like, was you orchestrating shit? How you know?
I'm just saying, ain't no such thing as accidental. There's too much shit got to go on for you to get on dick.
I'm sorry you never had no accidental shit happen, but it happens.
There's
I
no
don't know.
such, there's no such thing as an accidental fucking.
I mean, hey, if you ain't playing it and it happens, that's accidental. Just like a car wreck. When you driving your car, you're not thinking about crashing into
You
nobody.
can't rent no motherfucking dick.
Oh yeah, you can.
Wait a minute. Suzette said I did. It was cordial, and I was doing something else, and we was hanging out. Next thing you know, I was getting some good dick.
That's
Oh,
how it happened.
your sister had a hot girl summer, is what she said. Okay, okay.
You know what? Okay.
She
Hell
said
no.
before it was popular, baby.
Hell no. Hell no. Hell
I
no.
mean, she just backed up what her mama said.
Hey,
Well,
you like
okay.
it, I love it. I ain't got no judgment.
Okay,
It
you right.
happened.
You right. You right. Okay. So y'all, I want to talk about something that's unpopular.
Mm.
And the reason I want to talk about it is because it's the elephant in the room.
Are you talking about what the DEI?
Yes. DEIA.
Gypsy said you and Sean ever been together? Because well, damn.
You think we kiss and tell? What is wrong with you? Y'all get
I
it on them.
I
If you want
I
to
appreciate
go,
that. I appreciate that, Tanya. But I'm on my chill mode. I'm stuck in rest mode.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you what Gypsy did
do
and said last time the girl tried to
it.
shoot her shot and shot. Sean don't want nobody. He ain't looking for nobody.
Listen,
That's what you
that was
said. So we
that
gonna
was
keep that same energy.
listen. That was before I knew he was accidentally falling in the pussy and shit.
I
So
mean that ain't now because I just keep my eyes to myself. I don't look at nothing because I don't want nothing accidental to happen. You know what I'm saying? Because I know how it happens, so I don't even want that to happen. I don't want no problems with nobody.
accidentally falling in the pussy and
You know,
shit. So go
and
on,
that
shoot shot,
and
girl.
that and
Shot.
that used to happen to me a lot. So I already know, like, yeah, just look at the floor, look at what I'm looking at, and
Oh
keep it moving.
hell no! This fool right here. Okay,
I'm
so
just
y'all,
saying.
the only reason I want to talk about it is because it really seems to be hitting the forefront. And what I want everyone to understand, and the reason I want to have everyone understand this is the DEIA. And please don't forget the A. I want people to understand it's more than just Black people. Diversity,
Well,
equity, inclusion, and accessibility.
so
It's not just about Black people.
let me ask you a question because that is a fair topic, and we said we wanted to talk about it when I threw it out
Right.
there. However, we are almost toward the end. Do you think it's fair to start this conversation now or table it for
I
next week?
the only reason I think it's fair is because there are a lot of people that are losing their jobs right
Oh
now, and
yeah.
they're losing their jobs indirectly because they're indirectly supporting these offices or whatever. For example, we had a contractor lost her job not because she actually works in a DEIA office, but because she supports staff. And one of the offices that's included in the list is DEIA. Where is she now? Overseas, lost her job, and now she's trying to get the fuck home. And so the thing is that I want people to understand what diversity, equity, and inclusion is, because there are people that are trying to um, boycott different companies and stuff like that. And what you really need to understand is, what is it? First of all, if you're a woman, you've benefited from DEIA. If you're a minority, black, white, or black or other, you've benefited from DEIA. If you're disabled, you've benefited from DEIA. If you're over 40, you've benefited from DEIA. If you're gay, you've benefited from DEIA. If you're
If
um,
you're Caucasian,
yeah,
anything that has a heartbeat and a pulse, it can put two
right,
words together. You just benefited, basically.
right. And the thing is that It's not until these things started impacting you directly that people are actually starting to feel it. Like today, there was a executive order that came out that said something about that it was going to pause. Now it has since been, there has been a injunction issued by a judge, but they were going to pause federal loans and grants and stuff. And these loans and grants were for kids that have free lunch, for uh, these after school programs, these nonprofits and stuff that help with childcare, Head Start, those kind of things, Section 8 housing, all of those voucher programs, Medicare, those kind of things. So, what I want people to do, I implore you to do, is to go read. My mother always said, if you want to hide something from someone, put it in a fucking book, because people don't like to read. But you need to go read. You need to educate yourself on what things are. Stop with the oh well, it doesn't hurt me, or it's not benefiting me. Let me tell you something. There was a lady today who, her husband, they were waiting for her outside of a church, her and her husband. They got her husband when he came outside of the church and carted him off. Like, do you understand the ramifications of taking away your birthright? If you're born on this, in this country, your birthright is to be a citizen. If they take away the birthright for one group, what makes you think they won't take away your birthright? The other thing that I want people to understand, and so I've been a blogger for years. And a few years ago, I blogged about this. And I told people, if Roe versus Wade got repealed, we better hang on, because we were going to have a hard fucking time. And I meant that. And people didn't understand what I meant. And I said, do you know it's only a matter of time before the rest of your rights are rolled back? That's a test. And they were like, what do you mean that's a test? Do you know in the 8 days that he's been in office, he's also rolled back Civil Rights Act of 1965. He's also, again, shut down diversity, equity, inclusion offices. He's also gotten companies to roll back their diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. He's also rolled back the Green New Deal. If you need to, go look that up. That's about global warming, climate warming. It's also, the Green New Deal is it should be very important to you, because it also is about clean water, us having clean water. You want us all to be Flint? It can definitely happen, because that's one of the things that is in there. Yep, go ahead.
All right, so that is a pretty lengthy topic, because just off what you
Yeah.
just said, I got 16 different things I could say. But right now,
Okay, so
yeah,
let me
my,
let
my
me
cup
jump
is
back in
empty.
on this time. So I was paying attention while you were talking, Gypsy, and I was trying to pull some statistics, and
Right.
I found some different ones based on, what we think about DEI and like satisfaction around it. But I was trying to pull up the specific statistics on who benefits the most. So I really feel like we should table this conversation to go
Okay.
more in depth next week. And that way we can really talk about some of the ins and outs of what that looks like and who benefits from it. If I remember correctly, just from the last time I took a peek at it, because I actually do DEI training, right?
Mhm.
So I think we're number 6 or 7 on the list. Like, we're literally at the bottom total poll as Black people as far as who benefits from DEI. Number
Yep.
one being white women. That means Latinos, Asians, and
Yep.
every other category just about is ahead of us as Black people in benefiting from the workings of it. However, the public perception is still like food stamps and every other governmental assistance program, that we're always the one taking advantage of it and utilizing it when we're actually not. We're one of the least served populations with most of those benefits. And then when we do get access to most of those benefits, it is begrudgingly, it comes with a lot of extra burden. We have to jump through hoops to get it. And then we have to struggle to maintain it because of all the parameters and legalities and all the things they put in place to make it inaccessible,
Right.
right? So, and just for argument's sake, as we table this to next week, it is not only affecting people in the workplace, it is affecting small business owners. It affects us. I just said I teach that topic, right? So it affects the ability that I now have to make money with corporate contracts, because that's one of the things that I go in and teach. I was sitting at the airport today and got a phone call because of training that I have to go do tomorrow. And because it is not a government entity, but they potentially get funding, I now have to alter, and it ain't even about DEI, right? But
Right.
I still have to alter the training before I, not tomorrow, but Thursday, before I go in and do it, because I have to steer very clear of saying certain things because of their potential connections, right? Because what we were also talking about in that conversation was, not only do we have to be careful as we're navigating this from the perspective of how is it going to affect us with jobs or finance or whatever, certain people have to be careful because there are also going to be a lot of people looking for the opportunity to pull your coattail and tell them you or rat you out or say that you've done something to go against what's being done, or that you understand that you're operating outside the legal compliance. So there's a
Right.
lot of different ways that this conversation can go, and there's a lot of different ways that it's affecting everybody.
It is.
It affects me in my in everything I do, even when I deal with properties. Guess what? A lot of what I specialized in was working with HUD back programs and Section 8 people to help place them in different locations. So it affects my ability to even be able to help people on that side as well. So I just, to do it justice is all
Right.
I'm saying.
Exactly. Well, I
I
just
think
want people to
both.
go and do their own research first. I want people to go do their own research so that they can understand exactly what it is before we talk about it next week. Because the thing is don't come in and think that it is a program that allows them to hire unqualified people. What
Yeah,
it
it's
is,
That's what
never
they
been
think
that.
it is. That's what they think it
Yeah,
is.
it ain't never been that, but
they
that's what
think
they
it
think.
is, and it's not that. It's a program that says take all of our names off our fucking resume and look at just our resume. Look at
Yeah,
us in a blind box. Only like do our stuff on the telephone if you have to, with a voice box so that you don't recognize our dialect,
yeah.
and hire us based on our skill set.
So I also think for nuance sake, we have to throw out the fact that most Black people know this. It is
Right.
others that tend to view through the lens in what you're saying, right? We already know. So let me also throw out here for conversation's sake that I want you all to consider this as we circle back to this next week. If you are Black, if you are brown, if you are indigenous, whatever you may be, what I want to ask the question is, what has been your vantage point or your experience with DEI? Really take some time to think about that so that you can share with us next week if you have benefited from it, if you want to share that, if you feel like you've been ostracized because of it. Like, really take some time so that we can have a nuanced and intersectional intersectional conversation, because I don't want it to just be because all I'm seeing on Facebook is people are panicking, and I don't want it to just be
Right.
a conversation where people are bringing us their fears. Like, let's have a logical, critical thinking focused conversation on what's happening, what we're experiencing, and what are your thoughts on how we move through this, because it can't just, I'm not a big advocate for the whole selective purchasing thing that everybody's trying to say, and I'll
Right.
share more about that next week as well. um
But make sure
Jason,
you don't leave the A off, please, because
right.
the other thing is that most people leave the A off and they just say diversity, equity, and inclusion, but it's diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility.
But see, a lot of
So,
companies don't present it that way. So
right, that's what I was
yes,
gonna
that's
say. That is,
definitely let's definitely table it. Let's get back because
Yeah.
we can just keep talking about the nuances for another 45, 50 minutes.
Right.
So I threw the questions out there. Gypsy is giving you her questions. Sean has shared his thoughts. Y'all jot your thoughts down so you don't forget them. And let's
Yes.
make sure
And
we talk
please,
about it next week.
let's
In
come
that.
and have an informed conversation next week. And no, Jason, I've never accidentally gave it up by mistake. Listen, whenever I give it up, it ain't no motherfucking mistake.
We ain't even get to that comment. Let us get to the comment first.
Girl, take a breath, girl. Take a breath. Take a sip. Goddamn. Jasmine said, "Get off your soapbox, girl. The Lord is coming."
We already know this, girl.
Jason said, "You ain't never gave it up by mistake, Gypsy." But Jason, what were you saying? Yeah, that can definitely happen. I'm with you, Sean. Is you talking about the accidental pussy?
Giving it up, accidental pussy.
Sean, Jason said, "Oh shit, Sean, do be playing it like, do be playing it super smooth up here." Snow buddies only need to apply. Oh,
that's what you're talking about the DEIA. That's what I'm saying.
So I see where Jasmine get it from, Suzette.
She lied. Jasmine said you lied.
I ain't accidentally gave it up. Every time I gave it up, it was on purpose, bitch. Now listen. I may not have called you back, but that was because it was an audition, and bitch, you just didn't get a call back.
I bet you
just didn't know it.
I bet you when she get hit with that Thanos stick, it's gonna be by accident. She ain't even gonna know. It's just gonna hit out the blue.
Don't make me spit my soda out. Jasmine says she's funnier though. How about that?
Hey, you 2.0. You 2.0.
Boy, it's time to go. It's time to go. It's time to go. Thanos sticking out.
Is you running to get some
I need to go look that up. Get me more.
Is you running to get some D Gypsy? Is that what's going on? Is what's happening, girl? Because you ain't normally trying to run off the show. What you got going on? What you got? Mm-hmm. I see that look.
I need to go get gas. Yeah. I'm overdue, honey. I'm overdue.
With that being said, guys, thank you as always for. Hey, Crystal. Thank you as always for being on here. Thank you for the comments and the engagement. Let's give another reminder. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like this video. Do me a favor, guys. Before you click out of here right now, click that thumbs up button and like this video. And Suzette said somebody waiting outside. We know. Girl, she out here trying to act up. Duh. Out here just acting up. She said, bye, y'all. Tell Thanos snap his fingers some That being said, make sure you like this video and share. Somebody you know needs to be in on this conversation.
Please go back, watch the replays. Also, make sure you thumbs up, like seriously, tell your friends about it, subscribe. For those that need to know what happened last week, go watch the video.
Hey. Hopefully by the time I see y'all next week, I'm gonna have a fresh haircut because what? Your girl is overdue. So again, I'm gonna give a shout out to Benny Mac downtown for the haircuts. I'm gonna give a shout out to Anita at Fantastic Nails downtown and Miss Crystal Vance. Miss Crystal, if you get a chance, she has a cleaning service. So pop your details in the chat so we can give you a hype out as well. All about supporting Black businesses, especially in today's times. With that, we love y'all. We'll see y'all next week. And between now and then, make sure that you share out next week's episode so that we can really have some nuanced conversation around this topic because it is truly relevant not only for our culture and our community, but society as a whole. And we all have to figure out how to not get lost in panic, but to be intentional and strategic so that we can move forward.
Absolutely.
And build in whatever ways make sense, right? Absolutely, Crystal. Just pop it in the comments.
All right, y'all heard it here first.
That used to be my song. I ain't even gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
He got the magic stick.
You know what? And with that, we done. No, I gotta tell y'all this funny thing before we leave. See, that song and that Usher song, She's Such a Good Kisser. Those songs are both examples of why you need to know what the fuck you are singing. Because I done had to tell people stop singing that because I don't think you know what you're saying. And when I broke the lyrics down, they was like, and it is.
that's a whole nother topic because I got a couple that I'll be mad that people don't even know. But and the wrong words have overtaken the right words. See, now y'all okay.
Right.
We gonna wrap it up. We gonna come back
Bye,
with these
y'all.
topics later.
Yup.
We'll see y'all
Peace.
next week.